Hello, welcome to SHE-preneur Stories series, an initiative by 46XX that brings to light story of a woman entrepreneur per episode that might just cheer, inspire, aid and benefit you on your entrepreneurial journey. Today, let's listen in to the story of NISHA Dutt, a CEO turned entrepreneur. She helms Decodem.ai, which she founded in 2019 with Harsha Angeri, after nearly 2 decades of consulting CXOs, DFIs, foundations, and holding management positions. You may read more about her accomplishments in the description box. Listen in to learn more about as to how did she get to where she is today. Nisha is an armed forces kid. Though she originally hails from Punjab, growing up she moved around quite a bit and grew up in a multicultural environment. Her schooling was from government schools, and then she went on to pursue mechanical engineering, followed by double masters in MBA and industrial engineering from the US. Her dad was in the Indian Navy and mom was a businesswoman until they both decided to retire and enjoy retirement. She has 2 siblings, an older sister and an older brother. Since her dad's job was transferable, she grew up in a tight-knit nuclear family. Given the nature of her parents' profession, she witnessed the best of both worlds up close. On one hand, risk-taking ability afforded by entrepreneurship, and on the other, benefits of discipline and hard work in life. She feels that this has somewhere contributed to the person she has become over the years. She currently resides in Hyderabad with her husband and her newborn twins. Growing up, she was a carefree child, loved the outdoors and had keen interest in sports. She was outgoing, social and loved participating in extracurriculars. As far as academics were concerned, she was an above-average student. While she did not have any specific aspiration, she just wanted to be able to travel the world, have a non-rigid life. She always had an interest in arts and storytelling. She has been a voracious reader from a very young age and has read thousands of books across varied topics, from spirituality to fiction to philosophy and management. Nisha has grown with an intellectual curiosity, which continues even to this day, and that's what drives her. Over the years, she has traveled the world and met really interesting people. She believes that one is a sum of their experiences, and so she credits a lot of her success to her upbringing and the freedom she has always had. The fact that she got into a structured profession like consulting and later went on to lead an advisory firm has always been a surprising trajectory. She didn't specifically plan for it. She just works with a simple principle that her dad taught her. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. And she likes to bring that energy into everything she does. Also, while she did very well in a structured profession as that of a management consultant, she personally is a free thinker and has a go-with-the-flow attitude towards life. So there has always been this dichotomy in her personal and professional life. And that's perhaps why the idea of entrepreneurship seemed attractive to her. The freedom to experiment with ideas and create something from the scratch. This coupled with the fact that she grew up driven to bringing about a meaningful change, given that her dad served this country and found great meaning in it. Today, she sees great art in playing with data and converting it to meaningful stories and driving change. Thus, connecting the dots of her life, Nisha ventured into entrepreneurship in 2019 with the aim of using the power of technology for good. In her previous roles as a management consultant and advisor, she always felt that there was huge amounts of manual effort involved in scanning through the data, connecting the dots, and then coming to the right advice for the clients. She fundamentally wanted to change that. She has always felt that if we used data and drew our analysis, we might find patterns that we didn't know existed. So, she embarked upon entrepreneurship, founding Decodem.ai to make the business of insights free of drudgery, data-focused, concise and actionable. In a span of mere 2 years of existence, several global consulting firms, top Indian universities, Fortune 500 companies have benefited from Decodem.ai's approach. Decodem.ai has also attracted seed funding from a deep tech venture fund and is in the process of building its on-demand insights platform. Nisha will now give us a peek into what her entrepreneurial journey has been like.
Hi, this is Nisha, and I'm founder of Decodem.ai. Decodem.ai is a platform that we are building. It's essentially an on-demand platform for insight generation. Think about it. These days your food is on demand, your entertainment is on demand, your news is on demand. Everything is moved to on demand, except for the things that I think essentially should be on demand, which is business decision making. That's where when you need the insights, they are not on demand, and that's exactly the problem that we have set out to fix, my co-founder and I. And we are building a platform that you can actually come, interact with, and generate, dynamic insights on demand. So that's essentially what we are doing. This has been my journey has been interesting because I took the general path like people do. I set out after college to start building a corporate career like most people do, and I would say that I did quite well at it. I also reached to the very top, which most people aspire to do. I went on to become the CEO. But at somewhere when I was still doing some client service work, I kept thinking that there were better ways of doing the work that I was doing, and I think that's where the idea generation happened. As I was providing advice to clients, I thought that there has to be a better way to do what I'm doing. And my interest in life has essentially been in two things, right? One is changing conversations, and other is using data to do that. And the more I got into it, I thought that it was a time to take a break and sort of regroup, take all my skill sets of everything that I've learned, and see if I could change conversations, if I could use more data, and if I could do business of insight generation a little bit more data driven, a little bit more machine oriented, and a little bit more using AI and other techniques that were coming up. So for me, it all came together. I did do a lot of corporate work, and then I decided that let me take all these learnings and fix the gaps that I've seen. So that's how it began, and it began in 2019. So it's been exciting so far, definitely life-changing. I think challenges have been primarily twofold. One, I think the first one that I faced, and I think a lot of women may relate to, is that when you're doing well in your career, it's oftentimes hard to step away from it and get into something else. One is, I think, your own conviction, but I think also the support system around you. Your loved ones are always try to give you a little bit of a discouraging thing, saying that you're doing so well in your career. Why would you want to move away? So I think that is one piece of challenge that I'd had to deal with. But luckily, I was able to rally troops around me. The second piece, I think, as entrepreneur, one thing that happens to you, which you don't hear, so you don't actually. Never quite get used to it, is you hear a lot of no's. I mean, you start hearing no all the time, actually. So it can be very discouraging at times because in your corporate career you will not hear so much of no's, but so many no's. But in entrepreneurship, it's all about no's, right? People actually say a lot of no's. They try to discourage you. They try to change your path. So I think the more the challenge so that becomes a little bit mentally challenging sometimes. And I think the way to overcome it, or the way for me has been to keep the purpose front and center. Always remember why you started this in the first place. So I think keeping the purpose front and center sometimes, and reminding yourself why you chose this path sort of helps you overcome some of these things. So I would say it's been more mental, actually, more than anything else. It's been good. I think in terms of support, I would say one of the best things that happened was that I have a good set of family and friends that have kind of come through for me, like they've always come through in past. The other support then I think is kind of I can't really say it enough, but we received funding very early in our journey. And that was really helpful, right? Because that almost sort of tells you that your idea has merit. There is someone who's willing to put money into it. So I think that kind of support we don't speak about it often enough, but that's actually kind of important. And I think the other third thing I would say is that I'm working with a co-founder that I'm also good friends with. So I think that always helps, because there is that natural, chemistry. You can speak to each other freely. So I think that support system is also important, because your co-founders are the people you're going to work and speak most to, most with in a day. So the better chemistry you have with them, the better off you are. There is no, I would be the first one to admit, both in my corporate career and in entrepreneurship, I've never been able to strike, a great balance. I don't think there is anything called balance in my worldview. I read somewhere that there is more like work-life integration, and I think that's what ends up happening to most of us. There are days when you work a lot longer than you want to, and then there are days that you take it a little lighter and spend a lot more time with family. So I think it's all about carving out some personal time for yourself. With pandemic, it has made it a lot worse actually for most of us in terms of managing family, work, kids, everything else. So I wouldn't say that I'm the last person who can speak about work-life balance. I haven't managed to achieve any, but I do keep my weekends sacred and sort of keep it work-free to the extent possible. Accomplishments. It sort of seems like I think I did quite well, like I was saying, in my corporate career. So some of the accomplishments which I look back and I'm proud of are one, I would say that when I was in the corporate career, I think I built a company from, I would say, almost one of the functions I built almost grounds up. So that I've always been very proud of it, that I was able to sort of take up the cudgels and actually build something up. So that more than all the other accolades, that has given me a lot of sense of pride. But I think other things that I've done, I was Social Entrepreneur of the Year. I was awarded that in 2017. I was also, Forbes did an issue on, women trailblazers. I was there in that, issue as well. So I've gotten my share of, limelight, but, things that make you happy at the end of the day are, places where you were able to make a difference, places where you felt, your ideas were validated. So I think in that sense, I've had accomplishments, but I'm looking forward to, hopefully having more accomplishments in this, second stint in my career. Actually, the kind of person I am, I don't think about regrets. I always feel that, you live, you learn. And one of my learnings has been, and maybe some women can resonate with, maybe it'll resonate with some of you, has been that I feel that women very often keep, things on hold, one on hold for others. So for instance, I will put my personal life on hold to build a career, or vice versa. And I think that's where we should take the cue from men and learn from them, because they never do anything of that sort. And I think it's about time we understood that. Actually, that's been, as I look back, I feel that it's not necessary actually. You can pursue your goals. You can also have a great personal life, and you can have personal events. So I feel you just have to take both in stride and move forward, and not put on one on hold for the other. And I think this is where women don't get it right very often, and I think that mindset has to change. So if I look back, I think what would I have done differently? Probably this. It's not a regret, but I think it's a learning that I could have made some decisions that I put on hold way sooner, actually. I think future journey for us is exciting. I've always felt that success is fleeting, but significance is lasting. So one of the things that I'm looking to do in future, and with the company itself, is to see if we can build something significant. Actually, significant that I can look back and be proud of, that I was a part of this, regardless of where it goes. But one thing that we are trying to build today is, like I was saying, talking about, on-demand insights, is pretty much like, a streaming platform. Like we are hugely inspired by Spotify, almost like Spotify for insights. Can you, stream your insights? Can you create your playlist? I want to be able to customize things that people want. And that's the journey that we are on. That's the bigger vision that we are chasing, really. And in this vision, obviously, like I said, we have had early supporters and investors. Today, we are a team of 6 people. We are looking to hire more and grow our team. We are also in the stage, where we are experimenting with the product itself and seeing, if we can get subscribers on board, and, doing all the validations. So I think it's a very exciting and trying time at the same time for us right now. But I'm hoping that, we'll get to, building a solid platform for everyone to use. And we are going for our next fundraise, later this year. So those are the plans. And, hopefully, it'll become all popular, and, you will know the name Decodem just like you do Spotify. So that's really the, aspiration at least. We always think of it as, that just like, Amazon has, millions of people who come and buy products there, right? So we always feel Spotify has, millions of people who come and, consume their, music. Almost like that, right? I mean, I feel that everyone should be able to get something exciting, interesting. If you're interested in the area of, mobility, you should be able to get your own playlist. You like sustainability, get your playlist. You like aerospace, get your playlist. Whatever it is that floats your boat. And in that sense, I feel that it should truly be a democratized platform where people should, it should be the one stop, right? I mean, people say that in the morning, I want my, this is what I want to listen to. This is where I get my information to do my work more effectively. So that's really the aspiration, have millions of people use it. Actually, the more you use, the better we get. I think one of the biggest learnings has been for me is, just generally looking at my career has been, don't chase success. Chase, things that you really fundamentally want to change around you, solve meaningful problems. I think that's, very important, because we start, putting this artificial milestones of, if I raised funding, have I hired people, have I spoken to people, do I have customers? You have a lot of these, artificial milestones that they create. And one of the learnings has been that first, solve a problem that's real, and, solve a problem that you enjoy actually, and you have actually personally faced. So I think that's, one thing that I would say is the biggest learning. The second is, of course, I think everything is a choice in life, right? Don't do anything because you have to. Make choices actually. Choose your people carefully, choose your co-founders carefully, choose your products carefully, choose your customers carefully, and be on the journey because you like to be on it. Don't make it last option. I feel entrepreneurship is a very difficult journey. It should never be undertaken as a last option. It should always be a first choice. You should be in it because you wanted to do something. And I think that's been important, because you will have you will really see the lowest lows on this journey, and the more motivated you are, the better you will have the sticking power actually to go through it. If you're still sitting on the fence, please take the plunge. I think we need more women entrepreneurs in this world, just like we need more women, in decision-making power, decision-making positions. I think we just, I think we do it better. We bring better balance to the world. So I don't see any reason why you shouldn't take the plunge. So if you are on the fence, take the plunge. It's going to be insanely crazy, but it's going to be insanely rewarding also. So definitely do that. I think my other piece of advice is that always, ask for your rights, ask the question, right? If you have something on your mind, please ask. Because I feel that as women, we typically, end up arguing with ourselves, and many times, the question never gets out actually. So if you have a question, if you have an ask from someone, ask away, because what's the worst that can happen? Someone will say no. If you didn't ask, the answer is anyways no, right? So I would say that, put yourself out there. It's uncomfortable, but get into that uncomfortable situation. Put yourself a little bit out there. And finally, choose your co-founders, very carefully, because like I said, these are the people that you have to work most with. So if you have inherent respect for someone, it's always good, because again, this journey is such that you will have a lot of tough and honest conversations. So if you inherently respect someone, then the conversation is likely going to be, easier. So I would say that, stick with people who really, you respect actually. So that's another thing, because a lot of startups and, a lot of ventures fail because co-founders can't get along. And I think that's one thing you should be aware of. So always work with people that you actually respect. I think what 46xx is doing is so hugely important, because, I sort of in my previous role tried to do something around this initiative, but I'm so glad that, they're actually doing things that, I could never really get off ground. I think one of the things that even if you look at global statistics, right, women entrepreneurs are not really well funded at all when compared to men. So I think, and that equation inherently needs to change, right? It's global. It's the stigma is there in US. I would say in India it's only worse. And we need platforms that sort of do end-to-end and do holistic hand-holding for women entrepreneurs and prepare them better actually for everything from getting their product right to getting market fit, product market fit, to getting in front of investors, to carving out their journey. And I think that's why what you're doing is incredibly important actually, and I can't really emphasize this enough.
If you liked what you just saw and heard and would like to be notified as soon as we come up with more such content, like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon of our YouTube channel, or follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or get yourself added to our mailing list by filling in a form. You will find the handles, addresses, links displayed on your screens in the description box or comments section. Thank you.